The first vehicles with internal combustion engines appeared in the 1880s. Almost 150 years have passed since then, so it can come as no surprise that the design as well as the appearance of cars has changed repeatedly over time. Even the tiniest elements have been modified, but today we want to talk about doors. Almost every engineer and car manufacturer tried to offer the world something new in an effort to go down in history. Thanks to this, we have some amazing cars that aren't necessarily new or modern. Look at the Isetta, a vehicle produced by BMW from 1955 to 1962. Not only is this a tiny 2.3-meter long car, but it also has no doors, at least in the traditional sense. The sides of the car are absolutely smooth and you won't find a handle on them. The only way to get inside is a door in the hood. Oddly enough, the door opens with a steering wheel attached. Another interesting car from the past with disappearing doors is the brainchild of engineer John Townsend and the California company JTEC. This vehicle is based on the Lincoln Mark 8 from 1993. Instead of standard doors, it has sliding doors, which hide underneath the car when they open. It's noteworthy that the design had no impact on safety. There's no reduction in clearance either. Both the passenger and the driver can get in and out of the car more comfortably. Imagine how convenient it is to park in a car like this when the parking space is tight. Nevertheless, this will always remain a concept because the company JTEC no longer exists. The Koenigsegg Regera. Now let's talk about something more modern. The Regera from the Swedish brand Koenigsegg is a very interesting car, which can reach speeds of up to 403 km per hour and delivers more than 1,500 horsepower. However, we want to focus in on its doors. This concept was presented in 2015. It was a revolutionary idea back then, and it's still a very unique concept car. The thing is that gull-wing doors, though popular, are not too convenient. They interfere with compact parking, and also rise too high to be lowered from inside the car. The same can be said about scissor doors. However, in this case, the engineers managed to get rid of the disadvantages described. The Regera doors go up and out at the same time, high enough not to touch the curbs and low enough not to hit the garage door. In addition, they take up very little space. This means that you can now easily get in and out without complicating your parking process. Holden Hurricane. Today's next unusual car is a two-seater concept car from the Australian company Holden, built in 1969. At one time, the Holden Hurricane was one of the most sophisticated and technologically advanced cars in the world. It was designed as a research experiment, so it didn't have ordinary doors. You won't find usual hinges or handles here. Instead, a whole part of the body goes up and forward towards the front wheels. In our opinion, it mostly looks like a hydraulically operated canopy. The Renault EZ-GO. Concept cars allow to glance into the future and imagine what personal transport will be like in a few years. Take for example the EZ-GO, the car of the future, at least according to Renault. It is an autonomous electric robot vehicle designed specifically for the needs of people living in large crowded cities. It combines the effort and mobility of a personal car with the advantages of a public transport system. To allow several people to leave the EZ-GO at the same time, it was equipped with a very unusual door. It is integrated into the hull and is essentially a roof made of two parts. The first one is an elevating ramp, and the second one is a fold-out ramp that facilitates access inside, especially for wheelchairs. The BMW Z1. Here's another car from BMW. It's the Z1 model, which was produced in a limited edition between 1989 and 1991. It's a two-seater roadster and a spectacular compact convertible. But people are mostly interested in its doors, and here you can see why. We bet that you've never seen anything like this before. The opening mechanism was and remains revolutionary. Instead of opening outwards or upwards as usual, the Z1's sliding doors drop into the door sills, so it's a very compact vehicle. It can also be parked in the most confined tight spaces because the width of the car does not increase when you need to get out. Interestingly, at the time of release, there were many skeptics who were convinced that the mechanism was not suitable for mass production. However, people who still have these cars guarantee that they never had any problems with the doors. The Renault Twizy. And here's another unusual and incredibly compact car. The Twizy has been produced by the French brand Renault since 2012. It's an electric urban car, and every detail is designed to save space, and the doors are no exception. They open alongside the body without even adding an inch to the width of the car. Another interesting feature is the handle located inside, not outside. The Mazda RX-8. A common problem with sports cars, even if there are 4 seats inside them, is the total absence of rear doors. Passengers face a lot of inconveniences to get into the car. First, you have to move the front seats, and then you have to climb inside in an incredibly uncomfortable position. The Mazda RX-8, though, is a Japanese sports car that doesn't have this shortcoming. At first glance, this car isn't remarkable. It only has 2 front doors, as do other similar cars. But don't let the first impression deceive you. A special lever inside the car opens the rear doors up for an easy and quick access to the passenger seats. This was achieved by removing the center pillar from the car. Of course, the rear doors are much narrower than the front doors, but it's better than having no doors at all. Rezvani Beast Alpha. Here we have the brainchild of a small but remarkable California-based company. Its model range includes a fairly limited number of cars. Beast Alpha are closed models with an output of about 600 horsepower. The cars are produced since 2015, but only on demand. So the brand does everything possible to surprise customers with fancy features and unique designs. For example, check out these doors. Engineers know that gull-wing doors no longer surprise anyone, so they've made their doors slide sideways and then forward. This way they save space and increase the comfort of use.